Draw the Line is a province-wide campaign created by the Ontario Coalition of Rape Crisis Centres and its French counterpart, the AOCVF. Launched as part of Sexual Assault Prevention Month in May 2012, the campaign drives people to drawtheline.ca, where they can place themselves in different scenarios of sexual violence and choose how to respond. The campaign aims to help people understand why it is important to draw the line on sexual violence, when to do so, and how to intervene safely and effectively. What is sexual violence? What does it mean? A lot of people, for them, there's this misconception that sexual violence is just about rape. It's really broader than that. It's a broad continuum of behaviors. So this allows us to have conversations with people about what sexual violence really looks like, really truly looks like. It helps them to better recognize what it is so that when they see it happening, they can recognize it and then take steps to prevent it. So a large part of our discussions that we have, how to prevent it, what are strategies you can use to try to prevent sexual violence from happening when you see it. In order to test the cultural appropriateness and sensitivity of our translations, it was important that we organized focus groups with our Newcomer Centre of Peel clients. Questions that we had for the different focus groups were things like, based on this scenario, what would you expect this poster or postcard to be about? Or for example, if you were telling a friend what this postcard is about, what would you say to them? We also wanted to know what their reaction was. More, we wanted to know if the clients felt the material to be attractive and inviting. We wanted to know if it made them feel respected and understood, and if it fit with their cultural values and beliefs. It was important to us that the material that we created here at Newcomer Centre of Peel be acceptable and culturally appropriate and receive a positive reaction from our clients. Draw the Line uses a bystander approach to sexual violence prevention. A bystander approach to sexual violence prevention goes beyond targeting individuals to include models of community levels of change. Bystanders can be defined as individuals who witness emergencies or criminal events and by their presence may have the opportunity to provide assistance, do nothing, or contribute to the negative behavior. A bystander approach to sexual violence prevention emphasizes training to safely and effectively intervene in situations leading to sexual violence, as well as to challenge social norms that perpetuate sexual violence, such as attitudes, behaviors, and media that either condone, normalize, excuse, or encourage violence against women and girls.
Draw the Line campaign is a campaign that helps everybody to talk and have a conversation related to violence against women. It's not only the responsibility of clinicians, doctors, or health providers, or social workers. I think it's everybody's responsibilities if we live in a community and a society that we all wanted to have peace and harmonious life. Don't we want to have a future with no violence? I think we all want it.
To me, being a man means making sacrifices so that my family can have a better future.
As a newcomer man, I chose to take part in this public service announcement to challenge the stereotypes about what it means to be a man. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to end sexual violence against any person. Being a man means being a loving, involved father in my child's life.
Being a man means supporting my wife in her dreams and aspirations.
And being a man means confronting sexual violence when I see it happen. Not cool, man. Not cool. Know it when you see it. Speak up. Refuse to ignore.
The first thing that we really wanted to touch on was challenging the stereotypes about what it means to be a man. This is a really serious topic when it comes to newcomer men, for all men in particular, but for newcomer men specifically, because they have sacrificed so much to come here. They may be living a life here in Canada that is so different from the life that they lived at home. At home, they might have been able to provide for their families very easily. Some of them, had excellent jobs in their home countries and came here and are struggling to find work in a field similar to the field that they were working in before.
When I came to Canada, it was about 10 years ago. We came, my sister, she's older than me, my mom and my father. My father is a civil engineer. So all his life, he was a civil engineer back home, always providing for the family. So once we came to Canada, it was a big shock. This is how he calls it. It was a big shock for him to find that he was the only one with really high qualifications. Because of him, we immigrated to Canada. But it was hard for him to find a job in his field. And actually the women of the house were the ones who found the job first. So first was my mom with her broken English. My dad had perfect English, broken English. She was able to find a job first. Then my sister got a job. Then it obviously took my dad good 6 months before he found a job. Even I found a job before him, which I was 16 years old back then, and he really found that really heartbreaking for him, and having to accept having those issues. It wasn't what he was expecting. For my father, so as being a man, society puts pressure on men to be the one to provide for the family, to keep the family strong. So for my father, it was hard to accept the help of my mother providing for the family, even the daughter providing for the family, and the youngest daughter providing for the family. No, and I am truly, truly honored and thankful that my dad took the courage to make that such a big step. That's a man. That's a man.
Because the formula for manhood, again, is to prove you're not a woman. Prove you're not a woman, right? In everything we do. So again, what does it say about us as men and the pressures we put ourselves under? And how does it say about the women and girls in our lives? Everyone's telling me I have to be tough, I have to be strong, I have to be the solution, not the problem. I have to be the answer, not the problem. And anything less than that is soft, is weak, is feminine. Right? So two things are happening here. They're creating an impossible standard of manhood that he's going to spend the rest of his life striving to achieve, and then devaluing anything outside of that, which is considered feminine.
Your friend tells you her husband hid her passport and immigration documents. Do you change the subject? Another part of our project at Newcomer Center of Peel has been to deeply explore some of the additional or different unique forms of violence that women who are part of the immigrant newcomer refugee community might face. We asked Mona Fatia, crisis intervention worker at Newcomer Center of Peel, to speak to some of the unique forms of violence that newcomer women face.
So some immigrant women find themselves trapped in abusive relationships, and they can't get out of those relationships because they're emotionally, legally, and financially dependent on their spouse. They're uprooted from their native countries, oftentimes coming here, and the only support that they have to turn to is their husband or their husband's family. Communication with his family and him would be the only type of support that they could have, and oftentimes they're limited in the communication they're allowed to have with their family and friends from back home. One form of abuse that's really unique to newcomers, and specifically women with no status, is fear of being reported. And their husbands or spouses will oftentimes threaten to report them to the authorities and have them deported if they tell people about the abuse that they're facing. Immigrant women might be manipulated in specific ways where their spouse or partner will not allow them to learn English or French. And they might isolate them and keep them home, and really try to limit the support networks that they could access. They might also threaten to tell other people within their community that they're a bad mom or they're a bad wife, and the shame of this is something that they don't want to bear.
Shireen Abbasi, settlement counselor at Newcomer Center of Peel, shares about some of her experiences working with abused women.
I have seen a lot of cases where women are not allowed to see their documents, especially legal documents, their PR card, their landing paper, their child tax benefits. Even if they have their own account, sometimes they don't know. For years, maybe they don't know that they have bank account where their child tax benefit is coming and taken by their husband. They will never know if you will not tell them. And their PR card, if it is expired, if their husband will not allow them, they are not allowed to renew it. When they are trying to renew their PR, if they try to do by themselves, their husbands are keeping their documents like landing paper. And without landing paper, it's very hard to renew your PR card. They don't allow them to apply for citizenship. Sometimes I have clients say, and their husband say, go apply for it. But how? Because the legal documents are with their husbands. They cannot apply without those documents.
Our project has involved a train-the-trainer component with settlement professionals, including settlement counselors and settlement workers in the schools. Our expertise and experience working with immigrants and refugees has allowed us to broaden and expand the existing campaign to include additional forms of sexual violence that are often experienced in this population. Our training has focused on how these professionals can appropriately understand and respond to sexual violence in this context. We believe this training both adds to and complements the original Draw the Line user guide.
I got a text this morning hosting a party. Are you coming through? Every cool kid at school is gonna be there, dude. See, in the moment, all this seems cool. Drinking my hand, go recognized from my school. The host takes her by her hand, doesn't ask for consent. She was visibly intoxicated. To the bedroom they went. Her friends that should have been there to protect her happened to neglect her. No one was concerned as to what could happen and how it could affect her. I stood there conflicted as to what to do, trying to mix and mingle with the crowd and remain cool. But suddenly I stop, and it feels like I'm alone. The party's packed with people, but it's like I'm on my own. With a cold drink in my hand that's chilling me to the bone, a notification pops up on my cell phone. We all got a text that morning. A naked picture of the girl from last night being spread on Facebook walls and making Twitter highlights. And now she's being called names that I'd rather not repeat. And the guy that took her in the bedroom and under the sheets is getting respect from others like what he did was sweet when what he did was cheat. And I was a witness to it all. Couldn't I have done something? Wasn't there someone I could call? I see her walking through the halls, outcasted by the same friends that should have been there for her, making her believe it was something she did wrong. What a horror. I got a text the next week, just before I went to bed. The host of the party sent a message to me that I had read. I needed to talk. Man, are you there? Remember the party I invited you to last week? You were there. Look, I know you got my text. What I did was wrong. I got something on my chest. There's something going on. I know you saw me with that girl. Everybody saw the post. Now I can't live with myself and it's like I'm seeing ghosts. Cause the girl passed away, man. She took her own life. As the posts went viral over a couple of nights. I put the phone down. I stopped. And I think. I feel my heart pounding as it starts to sink. Though it wasn't my fault, I had the chance to interject. But now it's all a mess and like him, I'm filled with regret. And I can't help but wonder what happened in this short time. Maybe things would have been different if I had only drawn the line.
The Draw the Line campaign in many ways really speaks to youth and many of the issues that they're facing. For example, there's one scenario that speaks specifically to online sexual harassment or sexting. These are issues that youth are truly facing. There's also really important concepts that come about when we're having conversations around these things, such as consent. What is it? Why is it so important? As well as what is a healthy relationship versus an unhealthy relationship. So I was very lucky to partner with the Community Connections program at Newcomer Center of Peel to offer a series of workshops that were directed at youth where we could have frank conversations about these types of things. What we did was we actually organized a certificate series where youth, if they participated in at least 4 of our 6 sessions that we held, could earn a certificate that awarded them with volunteer hours that they could use as part of their community hours needed for graduating high school. And we spent a couple of hours in each session doing creative dramatizations, role playing, we used videos and other creative ways that we could find to try to spark the conversation about some of these topics. We obviously also used the Draw the Line materials and the Draw the Line user guide, and it was an excellent way of engaging youth in these conversations. It was really important that we get youth to have their voice be heard when it came to this topic.
I think that people who try to take advantage of other people by uploading, videos of, them doing their own business, right? That could just, first of all, embarrass the person. It could put them down, and above all, it'll have, the person who's kind of he'll have more control over the other person.
We organized several sessions where they had the opportunity to just speak openly about the topic, to share what they know about it, to learn from others, and about how they might handle situations, such as the situation of a friend sending you a naked picture of a girl that he knows, understanding that yes, it is a big deal if you share it with someone, but how would you deal with that if it happened to you? Maybe you can learn from the person beside you that's telling you what they would do if it happened to them.
I think that Jonathan wanted to blackmail her, so he took the pictures in order to force her to do something that she doesn't want to do.
So what I did immediately was I deleted it. But I realized, wow, I could send this to anyone, and he wouldn't know, and she wouldn't know. And that's how it will just go viral.
Well, I don't think it's acceptable that he send it to the person, because first of all, she gave consent to taking the picture, but not really sending it out to his friends.
Oh, she shouldn't have worn that short skirt, or she shouldn't have been flirting with that guy. Sometimes there's a lot of victim blaming that goes on as well, right?
I'm still scared. I'm scared of getting raped. I'm scared of anyone that kidnapping me or something. And I hate that feeling, and I hate that. That's why I'm defending myself.
I think ignorance play a part in this as well. It just shows how deep objectification of women is embedded in society, that women are defined by their bodies rather than who they really are. So even though you can say that it's his fault, the bigger picture is just how popular media has portrayed women.
So it was a really effective way of having them communicate with each other and learn from each other. In our conversations with youth, it was very clear that sexting, online bullying, and sexual harassment are definitely issues that they're facing or that they have seen occurring in their communities and their high school environment. So we felt that it was really important for the third public service announcement that it addressed some of these issues. We really wanted to bring in some of the other ideas from the Draw the Line campaign to really start to see them intersecting. So we also wanted to touch on alcohol use and alcohol-related assault. We were lucky to be able to partner with Wally Shaw, who is a local spoken word artist who's received a lot of attention in the Peel region for much of the work that he does with the school board.
When we asked Wally Shaw to be involved with our project, it was because we realized the importance of youth writing for youth rather than wanting to develop some sort of top-down approach. We believe that the spoken word piece he created leaves viewers with an understanding that it is better to do something than to do nothing at all. We hope viewers can understand the regret of the bystander in the video and can be empowered to think about what could have been done to prevent this tragic outcome.
It's our hope that others will also be drawn to the campaign. There's so many resources that the campaign provides that anyone can do much of the same type of stuff that we've been doing at Newcomer Center of Peel in their own settlement agencies, in school boards. We've been lucky at Newcomer Center of Peel to have a team called the Settlement Workers in School team. And they've really helped to connect me to the local schools to be able to get in and do some presentations and workshops. It's been a blessing to be able to have that opportunity. But those opportunities also exist in other communities, and I know that this campaign will continue to grow if people can think of creative ways to continue sharing the resources and having these conversations.